So if you've been watching the Fixit Shed for a while, or maybe you went back and watched some of the old videos, you might recognize this trailer. So I bought this about 5 years ago, made a video about it when I first got it. So one thing that this trailer's been lacking is a spare tire, and it's actually been weighing on my mind. It's been 5 years, I'm starting to feel like I am pushing my luck. So I did find on Facebook Marketplace a pretty cheap pair of wheels and tires. They seem to be in pretty good shape. There's plenty of tread. They do hold air, so I did check them out. I put some air in them the other day, and this one was okay. Actually, the other one looks like it might be down a little bit. I did fill it up just to double check and make sure I was looking at things right. But what I need is a way to mount it on the trailer so that it's handy and not taking up cargo space either in the trailer or in my vehicle. So I did pick up a spare tire mount kit for the trailer. Let's see what's in the box. Alright, so this is a Qualward kit. It's compatible with 4-lug, 5-lug, or 6-lug with varying bolt patterns ranging from 4 inches up to 5.5 inches. Alright, I happen to have a 5-lug by 4.5 inch bolt pattern, so this is right in the middle of the range, so it should fit easily. Okay, inside the box. So this is the mounting hardware to mount it to the frame. These are the brackets for mounting it. This is the bracket for holding the tire. I have no idea why there's a zip tie around it. So these are the studs for mounting the tire onto the bracket. And the ever popular instructions. Alright, so the mounting hardware does come with 2 different size bolts. I'm just going to open this anyway. Okay, so my frame is actually pretty thin. I don't think I'm going to need these long bolts, so I'm probably going to end up using these shorter bolts. So there's 4 bolts. They're carriage bolts. They have a square under the head so that these have square holes here so that they fit in and kind of lock into place. Alright, so you've got a nut for each one. Actually, it looks like they gave me a spare nut. We've got a flat washer for each one and a spare, and I've also got 5 lock washers so that there's a spare. So I have a spare set. So let's put those back in here since I'm going to be using these. Okay, and in the hardware for holding the wheel on, okay, so you have the 2 lugs, or studs, and we've got 2 lug nuts, 2 regular nuts, and I've got 3 of these locking clip kind of washer things. So I'm only going to use one, so put that in my spare parts. Okay, so these spring sheet washers are going to go on first, and they're going to hold the stud in place. That way, when you have the tire on and off, the bolts don't fall out, so that's going to hold them into the holes. Alright, so you're going to put the bolt through. We're going to put the spring washer on, then we're going to put the wheel on, then we're going to put the lug nut on, and then these are, they say that they're lock nuts, so then basically you put this one, you bolt that all the way down to hold the wheel in place, and then you tighten this one on behind it to lock it so that it won't come off while you're driving. The only thing that I don't like is the lock nut and the lug nut are different sizes, so now I need to carry 2 different size wrenches to get it off. So I might think about a better solution for that, but I'll probably just use it as is for now and make sure that I carry an extra wrench. Alright, so one thing that I did want to point out about this bracket, it mounts in this orientation, and there were a couple of bad reviews. They were not recent, they were maybe 2 or 3 years old, and they showed pictures of this bracket had broken, and the arm had fallen down, or one that had twisted, And so they were saying that it wasn't strong enough. Now, those pictures didn't have this part of the brace right here. It was just the tubular steel, the square tube steel arm. So what it appears is that maybe more recently they added this piece here to strengthen it. All right, so best fit for these nuts. So for the frame bolts that have the nylon inserts, they seem to fit best in a 17 millimeter. All right. You could also probably use an 11/16. So, although it seems a little bit loose, I don't think it'll strip it or anything, but you know, the 17 millimeter seems to be a nice snug fit, a lot less wiggle in there. So the jam nuts appear to be 19 millimeters, right? And that's a nice snug fit. So you might also be able to get away with 3/4. So that's pretty close to the same. All right. And for the lug nuts, 13/16 is the size that fits. All right, so let's get this spare tire bracket on the trailer. All right, so I want to make sure that this tire, the mount is away from the trailer enough so that it doesn't interfere when I put the tire on. So I think probably right about there. So I'm going to end up putting the bracket like right about where that sticker is. It says Carry On Corporation. So they've got lock washers, and they've also got, the nuts have nylon inserts, so it's kind of belt and suspenders. So, and I'm putting the threads, the ends, out towards the tire just so that they're not sticking in this way where, you know, somebody might step and get their leg scratched by them. Okay. All right, so we have plenty of extra. I might raise this up a little bit so that it is, you know, just to increase the distance from the ground. So I'm just going to put it up like 1 notch. So I did have to go and get a deep well socket to tighten these up. Uh-oh. Yeah, so something stripped out on that bolt. You can see the different color here. So be careful that you don't over tighten. Alright, so I cut down one of the longer bolts so that it would be about the same size. So I'm not impressed with the hardware. Can't believe I didn't feel like I was really torquing it down all that much. I'm kind of surprised it stripped. But lock washer. Alright, gonna go with that. I'm not gonna torque it down. But it's got the nylon insert, it's not gonna come loose. Everything is tight right now. So we're gonna go with that. Alright, so this is a 4.5, 5 by 4.5 bolt pattern. I'm gonna put it in here, and it looks like the 4.5 will work in either spot, but I'm gonna go with this one. Alright, so, and that's just going to hold the bolt in place so that it doesn't fall out while you're changing the tire. Alright, let's see. Alright. Now I've got 2 lug nuts. Yeah. Alright, so these just need to be tight enough to hold it on here, keep it from rattling around. You're not, these don't need to be torqued down to 100 foot-pounds or anything like that. Alright, and, oops, no. And then we want to get the lock nuts on. Alright, and that'll keep the lugs from coming loose. And again, I'm not going to super torque these down because I don't want to strip them. So. Alright, that seems like it's going to be okay. So I'm going to keep an eye on it though. And, I might want to look into getting some better hardware for it, some better bolts. I'm a little bit dubious about those. Alright, so just as a quick update, there is a new picture of a failure in the 1-star reviews, and the plate where the tire mounts to broke. So I don't know that I'm going to recommend this spare tire mount, particularly if you have larger spare tires. My spare tire, it's a 13-inch rim, it's a 175 80R13. It's not a big tire, it's not a lot of weight. I think mine might be okay, but if you've got, 15-inch rims and, 205 tires, maybe this isn't up to the task. It's, the person whose plate broke didn't list the size of the tire. You don't know what other factors were involved. But just be aware when you're purchasing, it may not be up to the task of larger spare tires. Alright, so if you got something out of this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to help this channel out, please consider subscribing or becoming a member by clicking the join button below. Thanks for watching. Take care.